Right, okay, we're here live tonight in the tribe again. So this week's VIP interview is with the wonderful Alison Emery of Move with Awareness. So thank you, Alison, for agreeing to do the interview, and and welcome. So so your company is called Move with Awareness. So begin by telling us, give us a bit of your background, because you've got quite a history of clinical therapy in your background. So just let us know a little bit about you.
Okay, thank you, Abby, and thank you for inviting me to this. So in the past I've been a clinical massage therapist, and I began massage quite a long time ago, but 10 years ago, in 2010, sorry, I'm getting away with myself. 2010, I was made redundant and took it up full time. And I wanted to specialise in helping people to get out of pain. So I undertook a lot of training and trained as a clinical massage therapist at the Jing Institute in Brighton. And I went on to do a BTEC diploma in clinical massage up to a level 6. And then I found that although the clinical massage was really, really effective, there was a little bit of a missing link. I couldn't put my finger on what that link was, but sometimes there seemed that people would get to a certain point in their improvement, but then wouldn't go any further, or they would come back with, the same problems. So I started to explore kind of other things, really, what is missing, and that's how I came across somatics. I originally came across it about 5 years ago, and I put it on the back burner to begin with, because a lot of things to do with the somatics almost contradicted stuff that I was learning through massage, and I don't know, there was a little bit of conflict there, and I couldn't get my head around it. And then about 2 or 3 years ago, I thought, now's the right time. Now I want to explore somatics further. Undertook some more training, and recently, or last year, qualified as an Essential Somatics Movement Teacher. And felt that I needed to differentiate somehow with the somatics, because the somatics is very much about movement, and thought, how could I do that, and decided that I wanted to have a separate website for the somatics, and that's how Move with Awareness was born, and launched the beginning of the year with a new website for that.
Lovely, fantastic. So for many, so somatics was a new thing for me. I'd not heard of it before you and I met. So can you tell us just briefly, just describe to us what somatics actually is, what it means?
So somatics is a movement practice. It's a way of exploring how you move and how you feel internally. So it's about looking at and developing your internal awareness of your body. It's a way of doing movement to help release tension in the body and help release pain conditions that arise due to this tension, whilst exploring how you feel internally. We become so removed from how we actually feel internally, because we're exposed to so many external factors, and we almost become disassociated in how our bodies feel. So somatics helps to re-establish that connection with your body, with your mind, what you're feeling internally, whilst addressing pain conditions such as back pain, neck pain, all of those kind of issues. It's a neurological movement practice, so it works with the brain, and it helps to re-establish this connection between the brain and the muscles.
Wonderful, lovely. So I've had a go, as you know, I did attend one of your online classes, and loved it. So the way I was describing it, because obviously I was telling people about it, because that's what I do, and I say it's a bit like mindfulness and yoga kind of combined, and yeah, so we're being encouraged, aren't we, nowadays, to stop, pay attention, listen to our bodies. And yeah, there's a lot that we can do to heal ourselves, can't we, when we really start to pay attention. So yeah, so that's wonderful. Now, you mentioned that you launched. Okay, so you and I started working together literally just on the cusp of lockdown 1, didn't we? So we met face to face. We met in a cafe. You came to my house. It was lovely. And then it was like, yeah, well, that's all over. So you were about to launch. You were literally about to launch and wanting, to promote your classes, because you were doing, face-to-face classes. And then lockdown struck. So what challenges did you face? What was the biggest challenge for you when lockdown came around? What did you have to do? How did you overcome that?
Well, I think at the time when I initially came to you, I didn't really realise how big somatics was going to become in my business. I think building up the somatics business was looking more like the 5-year plan, and during lockdown it became the now plan. Because originally when I came to you, I felt a bit confused, a bit lost. I didn't really have a clear direction. I didn't really have clear goals. So I was looking at developing the massage practice as well as getting more clients for the somatics. When lockdown occurred, obviously my massage practice had to close. So I wanted to explore, or I had time to explore somatics more. And the biggest struggle really was, how am I going to take this forward? So I was new to teaching, and I'd only just started teaching to a class face to face. And now I had to either abandon ship or take it online. So that was a real big step. So I decided to take it online, and it's proved it works really well online, really, really well, because it's not something that you need to watch me do. It's something that you just need to listen. So even though I'm doing it on Zoom and everybody's sick and tired of being on Zoom, once we've once we've logged on, you just lie on the floor and listen to me, and I explain what needs to be done. So it actually works really, really well on Zoom. And I've been fortunate enough to get some clients from Edinburgh, from Southern Ireland. I had somebody from Portugal who came on one of the courses I'm running. I've got somebody from Kent, London. So it's great from that respect.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And this is the thing, isn't it? So when we've got someone to bounce the ideas around with, when you first came, to me, the thought of working online, for many of us, before lockdown, working online, it just sounds weird. And because, of course, almost overnight, it stopped being weird, didn't it? And it was the essential way the only way to do
the only way.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned that you were a little bit confused, lacking clarity with goals and that kind of stuff, which is a common thing. The clients that I work with, it's, struggle isn't about not being being unsuccessful. You had a very successful massage business, you trained and qualified in somatics, and we're about to go forward, yet we can still get a little bit in our own way, can't we? Yes, not having clear goals. So when you think about the mindset work that you've done, Alison, and I offer you've worked very hard, you've been a dedicated pupil, yeah, but this is the thing, I do what I do, but you guys, it's on you to actually take the action, isn't it? So, and you've worked very, very hard on your mindset. What's been the biggest surprise for you since doing the work and joining the Mind Your Own Business Club? What's been the nicest surprise for you?
I used to get up each day, and I didn't really have a clue about what I was going to do that day, but I felt really like I was just bobbing in the water and trying to stay afloat. I didn't really know what I was doing, and now I do. Now I have an agenda almost. I have a plan. I feel like I do when I come and sit down at my desk. I'm going to work, and I've got an agenda of what I want to do, and I could never see that. I could never see that picture because I'd always just like pitch up and think, right, what am I going to do today? And I wasn't very consistent about anything. I was jumping from one thing to another, so I just feel just a lot clearer about what I need to do. I mean, yeah, okay, I do still, flip from one thing to another occasionally, but now I recognise when I'm doing it, and I know how to rein myself back, and how to then get back on target. So I just feel like I've gained lots of strategies in order to kind of help deal with these behaviours when I recognise that they're occurring, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's often not new information, is it? And as you say, time. Yeah, time can be a big struggle, can't it? When we don't when we go out to work, there's a routine, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end to the day. Quite often we can even be told what we need to do. When we have to do it for ourselves, it's a big adjustment. And even for those of us who've been working, for ourselves, you've been working for yourself for a long, long time. It's that point at which we want to grow or pivot or launch something new or go in a new direction. Yeah, a lot of the challenges start to come up, don't they? And driving that process forward. So yes, you've done amazingly well, Alison. So your somatics is fully online. Will you go back to face-to-face somatics, do you think?
I think I will, because I have had people that have said either that they don't want to do it at the moment because they would rather do it face to face, or they've come and done the introductory sessions with me, but they would rather then continue face to face. So yeah, I think there is definitely an opportunity there, but I can't foresee it really happening in at least the next year, because it's just there's too much insecurity going on. I don't really want to run the risk of renting a room and then, suddenly we're in another lockdown, having to cancel things again. I just feel that at the moment, with the online classes that I've got running, it just means that I can keep those going and have some consistency there for myself and also for the people who come. It also gives me a lot more flexibility online. So I think that the online part of the business is going to be the bigger part. But I think there is still going to be some face-to-face options as well locally.
It's a nice feeling, isn't it? My window cleaner came yesterday, and we're good friends. We've known each other since school, in fact, and that's how that works, isn't it? And and he said, "Oh, you're gonna go back to working face to face," which obviously I did, for quite some time before lockdown. And I said, "No." He said, "Well, you didn't even think about it." And I said, "No, I won't, because it's convenient. It's I can coach 6 people in a day. I mean, not every day, but potentially you can do that. You could teach 3-4 classes. You can reach people, like you say, in Edinburgh, in Portugal, all around the world. The potential's massive now, isn't it? And whilst our joy, so yes, I will. There is a face-to-face workshop of some description in the future, and yes, somatics classes as and when. But yeah, there's such potential to work online, and people like it because it's convenient, don't they? And
absolutely.
Yeah, and it's just not weird anymore, is it?
It's not weird anymore. No.
I mean, we've got guys obviously in the Mind Your Own Business Club who offer healing and Reiki online, you know, all these different things. And I think that, yeah, definitely that's the way the world is going. So let me ask you this, Alison, who thinking about your sort of potential audience, potential people for somatics, what are the common mistakes that people make that lead to the kind of pain that you can help with?
I think one of the things is ignoring what their body is telling them.
Okay.
So people don't listen to their body. They put things off. They don't put their body first. So people will say to me that they've been in pain for some time and it's got progressively worse, and then they wait until it gets so bad that they have to do something about it. If they could do something about it sooner, it would never have reached that point. But because of work commitments or family commitments, I see it quite commonly in women. They're putting everybody else first before themselves. So I think that is definitely a common mistake. And the other thing that people are doing as well, which again is about their self-care, is people aren't moving around. And I mean, I know it doesn't help at the moment. We're on Zoom a lot of the time, or we're on computers and we're not sitting in brilliant chairs, etc. But in general, people aren't moving around as much as we've been designed. Our bodies have been designed to move, and we don't. So those two things I think are extremely important.
Yeah, and now more than ever, definitely, you know, us desk jockeys, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So even I think when we're at work, we get distractions. We get up, we go and make a drink, you know, all that kind of stuff. I can find myself sitting, for very, very long periods of time, sat at a desk, and you can create all sorts of aches and pains just by sitting still, can't you? Getting out and moving. So what would be one of your top tips? So is there a simple exercise or a strategy or a tip that you can give to somebody who's maybe is sat at a desk a lot of the time? Maybe they've got neck or shoulder pain. Is there something that you could, a tip that you'll share with us today?
Well, first of all, I would say for people to just stop for a minute,
okay,
and just sit. Let's give an example of, say, somebody with neck and shoulder pain. I would suggest that first of all they just stop, they close their eyes, and make sure their feet are on the floor, and they just tune in to what's going on in their body. They just take a moment to notice first of all, because that is very key to making any changes. And then once they've noticed where they've got any discomfort or tension, pain, just make a mental note of that. And then there's a really simple movement that they can do. Quite often this is where people get a lot of pain and going into their neck, especially if you've been sat in front of a computer. So with somatics, a technique that we use, one of the main techniques that we use is something called pandiculation. And a pandiculation, so we don't do stretching or strengthening or anything like that. A pandiculation is doing the opposite of a stretch. It's taking a muscle it's contracting an already tight muscle. It's taking it into a tighter position, and then it's slowly releasing it and then relaxing it. So this is what I would recommend that people do if they've got neck and shoulder pain, is focus on their shoulders, bring their shoulders up towards their ears as if they're shrugging, and then not just bringing their shoulders back down, but bringing them up to their ears and then slowly releasing them back down, but doing it really, really slowly. And then doing that again, bringing them up towards their ears this is backwards, but I'm lifting my right shoulder, my left shoulder, and the picture's going up, so I can't tell what I'm. It's really weird. So I'm bringing them up to the ears. So when you do that, if you want to do that, Abby, bring your shoulders up to your ears, shrug your shoulders. Can you feel that tightness now in your shoulders? Yeah. Now slowly let that go. Just let it. Your shoulders come back down really, really slowly. See which one lets go first. You might find that one lets go more easily than the other. Yeah.
I think it was this one.
That's one movement. The other is that you can do all sorts with your shoulders. So your shoulders move up, they move down, they move back, and they move forward. So I would do the same in those directions. Maybe not so much the downward movement, but certainly round your shoulders forward. So you're tightening in here. Round your shoulders forward, and then slowly release them back. And then also bring your shoulders back. So you're bringing your shoulder blades almost closer towards the spine when you do that. And you're really like opening up this area now. And now you're tightening, between your shoulder blades, and then slowly releasing that. So I would do those 3 movements. But to do it, even if that's not going to take you very long, that's probably going to take you maybe 1 minute, and you could do all of that. You'd only need to do it up, forward, and back. Just do it once, maybe every hour. I think that would make you feel so much better.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, so having a little, so we're all about reminders, aren't we, and visuals. So yeah, a little reminder on your desk, stretch. Yeah, so I remember in your class you were talking about how dogs and cats and animals kind of do those sort of very similar movements, don't they? And you were explaining all about that. And it's absolutely fascinating, isn't it? So yes, absolutely. So shoulder and neck pain is definitely my bag, and I was actually doing some of your exercises earlier, and it really does help. It really does help. So just those little simple tips. So an ideal person for you, so thinking about so you've got some new classes coming up soon. Who do you want to work with? Who is out there? Who would be your ideal client? What would they be struggling with right now? What can you help them with?
So my ideal client is somebody who is perhaps suffering from some tension in their neck and shoulders or in their back. Maybe they might have hip pain. They might be suffering from sciatica, those kind of things. And probably they've had it for a while and it's not going away. They've tried lots of different things and nothing seems to help. It doesn't seem to go away. Maybe it's getting progressively worse. And they're going to be committed. They're going to be committed to exploring something new to help them improve. And they're also interested in creating a new habit, developing a new habit, because somatics it's not a quick fix. It's not, you don't come along to I run an introductory course. It's a 5-week course. You're not going to be cured at the end of that 5 weeks. That's not what somatics is about. Somatics is about exploration. It's about experiencing movement. It's about developing more conscious control of how your body moves and feels. And it's about creating a new habit, a healthy habit that you do, maybe not necessarily every day, but maybe 5 or 10 minutes most days, so that you don't end up back in this pain and so on. It's a bit like we clean our teeth every day to prevent tooth decay. Somatics is like helping you service your body on a daily basis, so that you don't end up having to go and spend a fortune to have various different treatments. You look after yourself. It's a self-care thing.
Brilliant, fantastic. So is there an age? So obviously stiffness and pain tends to occur later in life, doesn't it? What sort of age range of men and women would you say would most benefit from somatics?
I think that it would probably appeal more to people perhaps in their 40s or 50s and above. It probably appeal more, although I wouldn't say solely, but probably appeal a lot more to women than men. But I do have men coming to my classes who benefit from it and really enjoy it. It depends on what people's level of commitment are. Some people are very committed and have the time to do something regularly. Some people just don't seem to have the time or are able to be consistent with that kind of thing. So it's somebody who has the time and is willing to make that commitment to take care of themselves and to put themselves first.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we know, treatments, chiropractors, massage, all those medication, yeah, it all costs a lot of money, doesn't it? So if we can prevent that by looking after ourselves, so yeah, it's exactly that, isn't it? Taking responsibility, and just keeping yourself moving. Yeah, it's a perfect way to I mean, certainly for me, I found it has helped me to counteract what is a necessary part of my day. If I want to work online, that requires sitting at my desk, but it doesn't mean that I have to sit here for hours on end in pain, does it? It means I can do something about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Abby, a lot of my work has involved being online as well now. Obviously, teaching classes and doing a lot of my admin, but I get down on the floor and I move around. And I mean, another benefit of somatics that I thought I ought to mention is that it's suitable for any age. It doesn't matter. I had somebody in their 80s who contacted me recently. As long as, well, I was going to say as long as you can get down on the floor, but actually it can be taught seated as well and standing. But one of the things that attracted me to it was the fact that you don't need any other equipment. So as long as you've got, all you need is some space, enough space so that you can lie down on the floor if you're doing it on the floor, to put your arms above your head and out to the sides, and away from distractions. That's all you need. So once you've learned the techniques, or a lot of the techniques, a lot of the movements, when you go away on holiday, or wherever you are, you can just do some somatics. You can take it with you. You know, you can't take your massage therapist with you.
No, as much as you would like to.
As much as you'd like to, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, brilliant. That is absolutely fantastic, Alison. So hopefully we've given people a good idea about what somatics is all about, how it can help them. We have got a couple of comments. So someone, I can't see the name, has said, I think we need to have a conversation, Alison. So you've already you've triggered something in somebody there watching. So what we'll do is, so have you got some classes coming up soon? Have you got an introductory coming up?
I have, yes. It's coming up on, let me just double check. It starts on Tuesday, the 27th of April. I'm running 2 classes that day, a morning class and an evening class. So at 10 o'clock in the morning and a 6 o'clock in the evening. And it runs for 5 weeks, every Tuesday for 5 weeks.
Right, okay. So it was actually Charlene that left that comment. So Charlene and I were actually having a chat earlier today. So Charlene's has struggled with, you know, with some aches and pains and stuff. And we were talking about what can we do, you know, how can we fix these kinds of things? And so Charlene would love to have a conversation with you about that. So what we will do, Alison, you can drop your links. You've got a lovely new website.
I have.
Yep. And if you can drop your links into the comments for your website and for all of your social media, because you've got you share a lot of your videos on YouTube. So if people want to go and check it out, you know, try before you buy. Let's go and see. So there's free stuff on YouTube that they can go and have a look at, and also your wonderful new website as well. So so just remind me again of when those classes start, Alison.
They start on Tuesday, the 27th of April, and they're running at 10 o'clock in the morning and at 6 o'clock in the evening. And all the details of how to book and everything are on the website, which is movewithawareness.co.uk. I also do a free 30-minute Zoom consultation, or chat, discovery call, that kind of thing. So because I appreciate that it is something that a lot of people haven't heard of.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's wonderful, isn't it? That people can actually come and ask questions. So if they've got a particular issue, or again, not understanding necessarily what it is that, what the commitment is, or whatever, that's a fantastic opportunity, isn't it? So that you to have a conversation with them. So so how can they contact you to book that through your website as well?
They can do that through the website. On the home page, there's a button at the top that says book a free discovery call, or something like that. So they can do that straight through there.
Perfect. Absolutely amazing. Fantastic. Right. Okay. Well, we've had lots of viewers. We had, I think, up to 6 people at one point watching. So let's hope we've got the word out. I know it's exciting, isn't it? This is it's such a lovely thing to do. And we will be sharing this video around as well. So, but if anyone has any questions, please do drop them in the comments. Alison will come back and answer them at some point, and Alison will also drop her links to the website, to everywhere. Get on, book a free discovery call. You've got nothing to lose, have you? Absolutely nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
And get rid of those aches and pains. Because we're all going to live forever, aren't we? So we don't want to be doing this feeling stiff and in pain, do we? We want to be.
Well, if you feel stiff now, what are you going to be like when you're 80?
Exactly. I want to be that 80-year-old. I want that coming to you going, yeah, I'll give it a go. Yeah, it would be wonderful. So thank you so much, Alison. It's been an absolute pleasure and a joy, and it's absolutely wonderful to watch your success. An absolute joy. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll say goodbye from here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Abby. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.